I'm Scotty Smith, and this is USL Quick Strike. Today is Tuesday, August the 28th, 2018, and the gap keeps getting wider for FC Cincinnati as they continue to roll over the rest of the Eastern Conference. 2 wins this week, 5-1 over Atlanta Reserves on Wednesday and 2-1 over Tampa Bay Rowdies on Saturday vaulted FCC to a double-digit lead over the rest of the pack, and they are showing no signs of slowing down. But there is a new number 2 in the East, and it is an all-too familiar foe if you're a Cincy fan. Louisville City now occupies the second slot as they jumped up 2 spots following a very good week. They defeated Charlotte 3-0 on Wednesday before obliterating the Richmond Kickers 6-0 on Saturday. They faced Toronto Reserves on Tuesday night and Charleston Battery on Friday, all while looking ahead to their September 8th showdown with FC Cincinnati. That should be fun, especially if both teams continue their current form. They already don't like each other, so anything could happen. That will certainly be one to watch. Pittsburgh drops to 3rd because, in typical Bob Lilly fashion, scoring has not been at a premium. But, also in typical Bob Lilly fashion, they are not giving up a lot of goals. They drew Tampa Bay on Wednesday and have a date with Indy 11 this Wednesday. Indy have gone 6 unbeaten and find themselves 2 points ahead of Bethlehem Steel for the last spot in the top 5. Red Bull Reserves are in 7th, but after that, it gets interesting. Ottawa, Nashville, and North Carolina FC are all separated by a single point for the final USL Cup spot. Nashville seems to have the advantage there. They have 3 games in hand over Ottawa and 1 game in hand over NCFC. The lads over at Speedway Soccer have projected that Nashville will actually finish 7th based on points per game thus far. You could probably find several Nashville fans who'd say that it would be even higher if they started Ropapa Menza on a consistent basis. I can't really argue with that. Alas, that Coach Smith has won an MLS Cup, while this Coach Smith has really only made it as far as the Mississippi High School North Half semifinals. Advantage, Nashville Coach Smith. Penn FC, Charlotte, Tampa, Richmond, and Atlanta Reserves, as well as Toronto Reserves, round out the table in the East. In the West, Orange County got a big win on Wednesday in Portland, but could not duplicate their success against Rio Grande Valley. The Toros got a 2-0 victory to make things a bit more interesting near the top of the table. Phoenix Rising is now level on points for second place after they soundly defeated San Antonio FC 4-0 on Wednesday night, giving our Twitter friend Harry a lot to think about on the way home. Phoenix has hit their stride and could easily challenge for the number 1 seed in USL Cup. They posted another 4-0 win over Colorado Springs Saturday night. So that's an 8-0 week for one of the hottest teams in the league. Only the aforementioned Cincinnati and Louisville can claim that level of hotness. Sacramento seems to have recovered nicely from their home drumming against LA Reserves a couple of weeks back. They sit in 4th, following a big road win at Reno 1868. They now have a couple of weeks to rest and recover. They don't play again until September 8th. Portland Reserves and Reno, in spots 5 and 6 respectively, could make up some ground in that time. St. Louis FC earned a 3-2 victory over Tulsa on the weekend and sits 7th above SKC Reserves, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and Fresno, all of whom are within 3 points of each other for the 8th and final place in USL Cup. Colorado Springs, LA Reserves, Las Vegas, RGV, Seattle Reserves, and Tulsa round out the table. Well, I went down to Voodoo Village this week and had Sister Belinda read the tea leaves. She prophesied that this offseason would be one of great addition and subtraction in the USL. I tried to tell her that all USL off-seasons are like that, but she shot me a crazy-eyed glance, and I shut up rather quickly. Sister Belinda predicts that 7 expansion teams will enter the league as planned, but FCC, Ottawa, and 4 reserve teams would all leave the league for different pastures. FCC is making the jump to MLS, while Ottawa is the long-rumored but never confirmed 8th team in the Canadian Premier League. According to Sister Belinda's tea leaves, reserve squads in Toronto, Atlanta, Kansas City, and New York will all leave to join USL D3, where the stadiums can be smaller and it's totally okay to have about 17 people at a match. Speaking of USL D3, John Harkes, formerly of FC Cincinnati and the U.S. men's national team, has been named sporting director and first head coach of USL D3 side Greenville Triumph SC. Harkes knows what it's like to coach an expansion side. He was FC Cincinnati's first coach as well. Tom Sohn has been named head coach of Birmingham Legion. Sohn has about 2 decades in pro soccer, first as a player in MLS, then as both assistant coach and then head coach at the MLS level. He is perhaps most well known as the successor to Bruce Arena at DC United. And in the continued promotional jungle that is Las Vegas Lights FC, the team dropped $5,000 out of a helicopter. Because if there is no traditional rain in the desert, you might as well make it rain in whatever way you can. We've picked out 3 matches to watch this week. The first one is Indy 11 and Pittsburgh Riverhounds on Wednesday night. It's been a while since either team was beaten, so it'll be interesting to see if one of those streaks continues or if one team can break through for 3 points. The smart money is on a 1-1 draw. Saturday, September 1st, has the other 2 matches to watch. Our in-state rivals and former NPSL foes, Nashville FC, will try to stay in that USL Cup conversation at 6:30 Memphis time against Charlotte Independence. Of course, if you're down at AutoZone Park watching Tim Howard and the Colorado Rapids versus Tulsa Roughnecks, probably going to miss that one. Later, however, that night at 9 o'clock, Fresno FC is in that tight-knit group looking for the 8th seed in the West, while their opponents, Reno 1868, would like to keep their spot. All of these games and more are available on ESPN Plus or wherever you illegally pirate USL matches. For more in-depth analysis and news, listen to the USL Show from the Beautiful Game Network. And be looking for our August Review podcast this Friday, August 31st. We sat down with new USL Memphis coach Tim Mulqueen, local radio host and former Channel 5 weatherman Tim Van Horn, and we talk a lot about U.S. men's national team legend Tim Howard. So join us for the Tim, and Timmy Show later this week. That'll do it for this episode of USL Quick Strike. Enjoy your soccer, everybody.